Hey there, everyone. Uh, 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 come on, America. What the in a world? No, sorry. No, we're gonna do that one. I'm so tired from this week, but in a good way, that I thought I had a typo in the word design in that intro.
Is 9?
Huh?
Is 9?
Yeah, there's 9. Hello, everybody. We have reached the finish line. It's Top 40 Design Week here at Indie Agency News. We have 4 shows. This is our first of the year. 4 awards, 4 honors. And why are we doing design? Because Kyle and I are copywriters. We can't design our way out of a paper bag. We love design, so we're fanboying. Daniel, you have been the most exemplary co-founder of Mrs. and Mr. Now, wait, I want to go back. You did the rebrand for Starry?
Yeah, well, it was never a rebrand in the sense that Starry didn't exist.
No, it didn't exist. You like built the whole thing?
So we developed it from scratch.
Jesus.
With PepsiCo.
Let me tell you, my kids freaking love Starry. We are a Starry family. So
yeah, it was a really fun innovation to work on because they went big with it as well. I mean, they sponsored the NBA and they're at the NBA, All-Star game and shootout and all of that. So yeah, it's like a lemon and lime, fighter taking on Sprite. A lot of fun to work on.
Yeah. Excellent. It is really excellent. So kudos to you for that. But honestly, Kyle and I were talking yesterday. So it's so nice to have Daniel on because he's asking all these amazing questions that we wouldn't even think to ask. So thank you, number one, for taking the time and even being a part of this. But just adding this extra layer to it, I think it just makes it more interesting. And we've broken all the segments up. So 11 o'clock, everything is, well, I think everything's starting to publish now as we do this show. But we put all these segments in, and to all of you watching, pay special attention to Daniel, listen to his questions, because it's really interesting, especially marketers, by the way. It's really important for marketers to understand. I know listen, you're all busy. I get it. Sometimes you just, it's like, just give me the sausage. It's like, you know what? You probably should understand how at least a little bit of it is made. So, but it's not so much about the process of it. It's the thinking, it's the logic, because once you understand the core philosophy of an agency, especially in Indie and especially an Indie Agency News member, it gives you a more of a window into their work. And if you're vibing off of that, then bring them on into your mix. We are at our top 3 today. We're trying to get, all right, we're still trying to get one of our winners in here, but we haven't yet. So let's do this. Let's go with number 3. And I am not ready for this, and I did this wrong. Oh no, no, no! Odd Notion. Pitch Black. Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's what Eleazar, one of my favorite people in this business. We met what, 2.5 years ago? Does that sound about right?
Yep.
I'm just telling you, like, seriously, people, number one, the whole team is gifted. The whole team is talented. You have the best PM in the business, by the way, and I'm not going to say her name so people will steal her. But you do have an incredible team, and I just love watching the momentum that you've been building, because you honestly have been working so hard, and you really, really, really deserve it. So, kudos to everything that you do. And I really want to start with the before and after with Pitch Black, though. Okay. So this started as an event. Stephen Green, who is fourth from the left, and so started this competition, or it was a party. Then it turned into a competition, and it is now the single largest, or it's the largest single day pitch competition for Black-owned startups. And so this is what it was, by the way. And now, an Odd Notion did this. This is absolutely gorgeous. So Steven also has built this into a genuine, just amazing platform that goes far beyond the event. So Eleazar, I want you to start with the brief. Let's go into that.
Yeah, essentially, Pitch Black was at a moment where we were going to pivot basically from being an event that happens once a year that is in person to, which is a source of inspiration for Black founders. The question was asked, how can we magnify that? How can we expand that? How can we reach more people? How can we inspire more people? So the strategy was pretty simple. How do we extend the impact that's happening in the event once a year to throughout the year, where people can have access to that inspiration and have access to the work that Pitch Black is doing. So that's where, like, their website previously was only used to get tickets. You just go there and just buy tickets. So that's the only use it had before. So now we're making it into a content hub where people can access video content, talks, podcast. We inspire them to start working on a podcast, and they're dropping episodes every week now. And so just becoming this hub of constant inspiration that doesn't stop at that in-person experience, which, by the way, I encourage anybody to go. It's you've never seen anything like it. It's amazing. So yeah, it was, how do we create a brand that can have the flex to go digital, fully digital, and have tentacles to go to other cities, events in other cities, and get into other industries as well. So right now, Pitch Black is only like, anybody can be a part of it. They want to start to niche down into different industries.
Yep.
So like food, they just did an event on food. So how does the brand flex towards a food event versus a general event, if you will?
Right.
That was part of kind of creating a visual system that allowed them to scale up and create more offerings, and creating a content experience on their website where people can constantly be inspired.
I'm gonna cop that. So it went from, let's see, I've seen it at the Red, which is about 150. Then it went to the Reeser, which is in Beaverton, west of Portland, and that was about 300. And now Portland Center Stage, and that audience will be 600. And so, really remarkable. And I mean, this transition is, this is very, it's really impressive. Daniel, I'd like you to dive in before I get far too effusive.
Yeah, listen, Kate and I were really excited about this when we first saw it. And I was actually discussing with Doug maybe a couple of weeks ago. It was just really, really thoughtful work. And I think, something that started with a particular intent, which was kind of pretty focused and restrained, and then sort of taking that and blowing it out to be more scalable, and is no easy feat. And I particularly love how this design system is just really working well across all touch points. So I know there's a lot of these kind of more like digital assets right now that I think Doug is scrolling through, but a lot of that, the merchandise, the swag that was being developed, it's just a really tight system. And I think that color palette, the black and sort of lilac purple, I'm not exactly sure what the PMS is there. This feels really fresh. It's bold, but it's inviting at the same time. And it's just really lovely. So I think great design is it's a bit like a visual symphony, right? You've got typeface, you've got color palette, you've got art direction, photography, and then you've got the ability to scale that and apply it, and you're kind of firing on all cylinders here. So it's just really great work, and it's just been a joy to look at. I wasn't familiar with it, so that was nice as well. Sometimes it's nice when you feel you're discovering something, and that's how I felt when I saw this. It was a moment of discovery. So yeah, congratulations! It's fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks for the kind words.
Dude, like here's what's most exciting to me about this is this page right here. You and Steven and Jelani and the entire the entire crew, the entire board have been building something that is going to go to a lot of different markets, and it's going to do an absolute ton of good. This is the blueprint. This is absolutely the blueprint, and can't wait to see what this is going to look like. Kyle?
Oh, I can't say anything better than Daniel said it. It's just the design aesthetic is just so perfect for the brand, and to be able to scale this brand up and have that I would call it lilac as well, but maybe violet. I don't know. It's beautiful, and it really contrasts well with the black theme, the pitch black theme of just gathering more and more people together under this banner. I think it's great.
I'm not going to front. Anything that evokes Prince, I'm good with.
Yeah.
I know that wasn't the intention, but that gives me a warm feeling. Listen, I know you got a meeting to go to. I really thank you so much for spending the time with us. Congratulations. I've got a big ass banner for you. I'm going to bring it to you. Like, for real. I've got this huge ass banner. It's like comically large. So that's coming to you. That's coming to you soon. But man, it is a treat and an honor to consider you a colleague and a friend. So really well done, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all.
All right, brother. Have a great weekend.
You too.
All righty. Let's go here. Let's go into number 2. Where are my vacation folks? Where are they? And then Andrew. There's Andrew. Look at that. Look at that. All right. Introduce yourselves. Andrew.
Hi, guys. I'm just a black box on my little screen, but I'm sure you can see my pretty face. Is it true?
Nope. You're a black box.
No,
He's really pretty, you guys.
All right. Introduce yourselves properly. Come on, Andrew.
Well,
go ahead.
Now can you see me?
Nope. No, we can't. Hey, everyone. We're Vacation. We're queer and female founded and run. We do a whole bunch of stuff across God. Make ads. We'll make zines. We'll throw parties. We'll do anything.
There's Andrew.
There he is in his pink hat.
Always a pink hat.
Anyway.
A pink hat.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's get your name in there. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna put Volpe. I got it right?
Yeah.
See?
There we go.
Here we go. Okay. When I first saw this, I was like, whoa. Okay, so a little bit of a background. Kyle and I come from a little bit of a print background. And so you do something in print, you already have a 50-meter head start. At least in our mind. Now, it has to follow up with something brilliant, because you could have print that's hot garbage, or you could have something that is absolutely brilliant, like animal print. So give us the background on this entire project, because it does have a lot of different layers.
It does. A few years ago, some friends of ours in New York started a queer bar in Brooklyn called Animal. It's now sort of an epicenter of queer culture in New York City. It is the most fun you can have on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. And it is a nod to the way that queer bars used to work. It truly is a community space. And so we did the identity for the bar. And then they sort of asked us if we could, in some way, super serve our community, make something a little bit more substantial than advertising. And if we could, as a budding agency, behave as more than a marketing agency, but as a sort of publisher. And so the bar itself was named for a photograph by Stanley Steller, which a somewhat nude man in the 80s. There he is.
Yep.
David. This is a shot from the early 80s. Right.
It's very early 80s.
Yes. This is like nearly pre-AIDS. And they posted this image on Instagram, and Instagram would not have it. And so we sort of looked at it and said, Doug, to your point, if we can't have a conversation around our community and around our points of inspiration and around our concepts of beauty on a digital platform, excuse my French, but fuck them, we'll make something in print and we'll pass it out to each other.
You can speak French here. It's fine.
Great. Actually, I hardly can. Janina, however, can speak 4 languages.
Yes.
Pointless.
Right,
Shut up.
Prefer to course every time.
Yeah. So thank you, Tessa. Stanley is extremely gifted, and so we reached out to him. He's the sort of centerpiece of this project. He had a collection of images that have never been seen before, and he gave us the right to publish them, more images of David, etc. What we were trying to do in general is to have a bit of a conversation. I mean, we are all getting a little older now, right? And the founders of Animal.
You old, and give me a break.
I
look at you and you're like perpetually 33 to me.
That is so sweet, Doug. Let's all hold on to that as fact. And one thing that we've kind of growing increasingly attuned to is a generational divide in the queer community. You have on one side men and women who fought for their right to do anything, to exist, fought for their rights to live, who watched their friends die in waves all around them. And then you have another generation that was born, that had will and grace and syndication when they were 7 years old. And so it's a divide that has manifested itself in many different forms in our lives, and is a hurdle for the community to overcome. And so we wanted to, with our first issue of Animal Print, try to bridge generations here. Here you see a collection of posters by Linda Simpson.
Oh, let me go back.
Yeah, Linda is a drag queen whose heyday still continues, but definitely started in the late 80s, early 90s. And these are a celebration of her party posters. Animal, of course, being a canvas itself for partying and for culture to intersect. This is a nod back to some of the party posters that she had. On the next page, Queering the Food System. These are about on the other side of that same page.
Oh, my bad.
A conversation with 2 queer siblings, Aura and T. Wise, who are, through an organization called FIG, are creating a lot of food justice for trans, brown, queer communities in New York City through really radical programs, really bold and progressive stuff that had a all new platform during COVID because there was so much more insecurity, and are just doing really awesome work, and they're brother and sister, and they're just like, it's a really fun conversation. We were psyched to feature it.
Oh my god. Okay, and then we'll move over here.
We also it is very much about a conversation here. So on the right, you see an image by Nicholas Wagner, a French photographer who has lived in New York for years. We asked him to do some animalistic photography. On the next page, we asked the creative director, Jess Cuevas, who works with Madonna and a lot of really interesting artists out there, to reinterpret the images in a sort of conversation across continents. On the next page, Michael Cunningham, the Pulitzer Prize winner, wrote an original piece about the community that Animal is in, Williamsburg, where Tanner, say hi. Tanner's the designer of Animal Print. He's really the star of the show. I just have a mouth. And so Michael here wrote for us a piece about the changing landscape of Williamsburg. And what's so fresh about it is he is coming out here saying, don't romanticize the past. You know, a lot of people look at Williamsburg and say, oh God, it used to be so great when.
Oh, it's like the Lower East Side. They say the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And he kind of has a nice fuck you to that.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, so I guess we can. We're just gonna flip through this thing, huh? It's not terribly long, but it is.
I'm gonna go here.
Okay, cool. Animal Print obviously came out of Animal. Animal is a bar for gathering. This is the images from the launch party. It was a riot of a time. And you can see, what's fun about this is you can see the scale of Animal Print. It is nearly 2 feet big. That is something that we did very consciously. It's like, you know, it is cumbersome for existing in the first place. It might as well be, you know,
it's large format.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Oh my God. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love large format. So Daniel, why don't you take over, because I'm gonna go far over my skis on this.
Yeah, look, I mean, this is just phenomenal, and I think I'm probably not the only one who will see this work and feel kind of envious of it. There's only so many opportunities where you really get to bring great design thinking into publishing, where, you know, there's just an element of artistry that goes beyond design. And again, this is just one of those where you look at it and everything is coming together in just such a unique and completely distinctive way. Sort of feel like I've never seen anything quite like it. The color palettes, the typography that you're using, the beautiful art direction and photography. So it's another one of these sort of visual symphonies, but in a world where increasingly so many design challenges and briefs are, you know, to ensure that something works across all touch points, and, you know, how will we show up at the Instagram party? And I think the fact that this is just is really in the world of publishing is unique and different and just refreshing in a, you know, in a world of constant kind of, you know, digital format. So I loved seeing it the first time. I got to kind of look at this, and then it's just really fun to see it again.
Tanner.
It's also joyful as well. I think
Yeah.
that's something I just wanted to add, is like, what does that all kind of lead up to, at least for me, is just a profound sense of joy and energy, and it's unapologetic as well, which I think is another thing I like about it. But yeah, it's just incredibly well done.
Tanner.
That's incredibly generous. Thank you.
No, it's he ain't lying. So from your side, on the design side of it, I mean, these are what's interesting is you look at this and there's so much going on, but to Daniel's point, there's an interconnectedness to it. How did you approach design and just part of your process? How did you get to this point, realizing, okay, this will work, this won't work, this is what I've learned, maybe don't do this, maybe do that? I'm curious about that push and pull on that.
Oh yeah, just days of pulling out my hair. That's my process, you know. No, I knew that I wanted it to feel queer, so I knew I wanted to have fun. I love bringing gay queer joy into the world in all its various forms, so I knew I wanted it to have that element to it. And I knew that there was an interconnectedness to the stories that we were telling, and we were kind of going down a little bit of a road. So, like, there are, for me, when I go page to page, I'm kind of just going the next step on that journey, and there's connectedness between the different pages that at least I see, that helps like weave everything together. I also very much come from, or can come from, a place when I'm designing stuff to be, to me, I always reference this. My co-founders will laugh, but the Spice Girls are such a great example to me of something that has really distinct pieces, but creates a harmony and a uniqueness all to itself. And so there's a little bit of spice in here, I would say. And also a lot of experimentation. I knew for this first issue, I wanted to experiment with typography. I didn't want to be in one lane the whole time. I wanted it to be expressive, but still that cohesion at the same time through like the little narrative thread, I think, comes through.
If we are talking Spice Girls, I am a Mel C.
Yes.
That she's my favorite Spice Girl.
Who is it? One with the longest career, I would say.
And she just seems like so nice. Mel B just kind of has some shit going on. And, you know, Victoria is Victoria, right? But Mel C, she goes on these like British panel shows from time to time, and she's awesome. She's just awesome.
She's very cool. She's very cool. Yeah, so that.
It would not be a panel with Tanner Shea if they didn't come up.
That is so funny.
We have a T-shirt to send you on that one, Doug. So
okay,
yeah, we do.
Yeah,
actually, yes.
I mean, Mel C, she'd be a good prime minister. All right, Daniel, Kyle, anything else to add? This is just remarkable.
This, I mean, you guys did a great job. You got me familiar with this when you first launched as an agency. This was one of the things that you told me about, and I was blown away by it. Then I'm still in awe of what you've done here, because it reminds me so much of the past, but it's so of now, and that's what's really great about it. I get all the decades in there, but they all connect. They all seem to connect, and in a visual sense, that when things don't look like they're visually cohesive, and they totally are, it just amazes me that you were able to pull this off and make it so inviting.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
So kind. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
Golly, Kyle, thank you for saying that. When we first met and we told you we were launching this thing, we said we're going to be a full service agency and we will always overserve our own communities. So the fact that we're being recognized for that is the most heartfelt, amazing feeling. Thank you.
Love it. I love it.
Well, and more conversation around that, because of a great member, Lupine Creative in Los Angeles. I know, Andrew, you've connected with Kate, and it's just like, let's just keep on keeping on, right? Here's the big question. Chicago, we're going to the Cubs game on Tuesday. We still have tickets. I still got like a lot of tickets left. So if you're in Chicago or you know somebody in Chicago, send them our way. So we legit have this big ass banner for you. I'm not gonna. It's like comically large. I was telling Elle about this. It's comically large, so I can either bring it or I can mail it to you. I'm fine either way. Let's just say it's like not a normal size to fit into a bag.
I want to see you get on a plane.
You should mail it.
Okay, now Kyle said I want to see you get on a plane with that. Okay, fine. I will bring it with me to Chicago.
You made me get on the subway with our last banner, so get on a plane.
Oh, no shit. You're right. Oh, that is true. Okay, that's fair. That's very, very fair. Well, I again echoing everybody here. Incredible work. I'm really excited to go to Chicago. I'm really excited to see you. And we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Congratulations to all of you. You're welcome to stay. I'm going to put you backstage, or you can head on out, your choice. But we are down to our final number one. This is the winner. It's our friends in Reykjavik for Keflavik Airport. Where are my boys? Wow, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Torli and Arnar joining us today. Let's start with this, because it wouldn't be anything Icelandic without us playing something Icelandic. Let's take a look at this. It is a stunner. It really is. Walking into Keflavik for the first time, and Daniel and I have talked about this, and especially as it relates to transportation, and especially being such a huge hub as Keflavik is, walking into the airport the first time, I said, okay, this sometimes when you go into an airport, there's like this huge, it feels tense. The Keflavik Airport in general is just a very pleasant place to be, but then to be able to have this design system as part of it, and then not really knowing you had done it until you told me about it, which is really, really funny, because then, oh, hold on, let's get everybody back. Yeah, because then it's, we've got, it's so smart and so sharp. Daniel, I want you and I spent a lot of time talking about this.
Yeah, look, I mean, in some ways, I'd rather hear from the guys.
Well, yeah, I want you to kick it off, though.
They're the ones that have worked on it, but it's I think it's a dream project for any designer to get to work on an airport. The airport is literally the window and the soul and the heartbeat and the welcome into any country. So it's incredibly important, and it's complicated, right? Because you have wayfinding. There's just so many aspects to the experience design of an airport, and you got to think through all of that across multiple touch points. I think the complexity of the project, without knowing exactly what your brief was, I can only imagine that this was complex, and yet to come back with just such a beautifully simple but flexible system that feels dynamic. And what I really like about this is I don't think this is going to feel old in like 5 years or 10 years. Sometimes airports sort of are designed to reflect the time they're in that moment of time. And, you can't just like rebrand an airport every like 5 years. And so my hunch is that this is really designed for today, but also for tomorrow. And that's part of what I love about this project and this system. And like I said, just having to think about all the different touch points and all the partnership, because in an airport, you have the airport brand, but then you're welcoming all these other brands into it. So it adds to a layer of complexity. So just a joy to sort of see and review. And again, a little bit jealous because I think on our bucket list is one day to work on on an airport. I think working on JFK would probably take about 10 years to
and it would take 10 years off your life.
It's so big. Yeah.
Talk about the brief, because, and of course, this is the great hot dog stand there.
Oh yeah, best hot dogs in Iceland. Bæjarins besta pulsur is the best hot dogs in town in English.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I love it. So give us the brief.
Yeah. Well, first off, really, wow, we're happy to be on the list, as on the all the others are also number ones for us, but really honored, guys. Wow. The brief, it's the branding is still going in that sense. It's a huge project, and
Right.
a lot of people, a lot of stakeholders, a lot of touch points.
Yeah.
And we need to move big rocks at the same time as we're changing stuff. We have to the value of branding is the key here. The brand strategy was a really sort of deep dive understanding from both the client and us. But then you have a society of almost 2,000 people that work on
That's true. Yeah.
Different types of airlines, and you have people on the ground, and so it's also internal marketing and changing perception of
how it is to work there.
Yeah. So it's the brief was in the beginning was it was called a lot of names. It was Isavia was like you would call it like the corporate entity, operational entity of the airport.
Oh, right.
And of course, you have to have fruitful operation at airports. Airport without, but experience was in that sense lacking. So what we did was to create Kiev as an experience brand. So,
and also it's really interesting to approach a project from the beginning with this holistic vision in mind. So, for example, just to think about everything sort of working well together. Like we had collaboration with an artist here in Iceland who did the whole sonic
Really?
identity throughout the airport. So all the notifications on the airport and stuff like that seamlessly integrates into all the advertising and stuff like that. So
so I'm going to pay closer attention next time.
Yeah. So he's called Ulfur Eldjárn. Really, he was in a really cool band back 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I'll send you guys some links.
Okay.
Organ quartet, they're called. Beautiful stuff.
Really cool.
That's cool.
And he did the sonic identity, and we worked really close. Because the mission in the brand strategy is to elevate each moment with the uniqueness of Iceland. Of course, and
So
so simple. It took a while to get there, but I think the same as Ulfur, and then we worked with Fishersund, for the scent, scent of the airport.
I got to pay closer attention to all this. My Lord.
Factory branding, right?
Yeah, oil factory branding.
Yeah.
Oil factory brand. Okay.
So at Fishersund is a beautiful. I don't know if you been there, Doug, at Fishersund. We were talking about it, in the car ride back to your hotel last time.
Yeah, no, next time. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful old house. Jonsson in Sigurðs is one of the founders, and his sisters and family are making scents. It's beautiful. So they made a scent there, and So of course the colors, the font needed to be was OR type, and also nice sort of type studio that we worked close with. So we were like, collecting Iceland together to create a timeless experience brand.
Right. And I like the fact, like the typeface is Keflavik Oasis. And my question is, I mean, there are a lot of ways to cut it with the environment and nature. I mean, the blue, is that sort of a nod to Blue Lagoon? Is it a nod to what's the palette sort of a nod to? Because to Daniel's point, you go to JFK and you're bombarded with yellow, which is great for wayfinding because it stands out in a sea of tourist t-shirts and sweatshirts. But I'm curious because blue is a considered choice. Portland does the same, by the way. Portland has blue as well. Oh, yeah. So it's a bit of a considered choice. And also, to Daniel's point too, wayfinding is really, really important. You want people to be able to get around and to know exactly where they're going. I've never been lost in the airport there yet. But I'm curious, like the palette, was there inspiration that came from somewhere, or is it just generally like this just felt right to us?
Yeah, I mean, it's the blue color is in the Icelandic flag, for example. So it was sort of obvious to relate to that in one way, but it's also a calming color in a way. So that's something that we wanted to sort of emphasize on throughout the branding and sonic branding and everything, sort of managed to lower the tempo in the airport. Sort of.
Yeah. So I think probably also like a cool thing is why do you come to Iceland? It's not because you want to visit big buzzing cities with craziness, but the nightlife here is crazy and really nice. If you want to go out, go out in Iceland. But it's nature and tranquility and being in a sort of like a big spa. That's Iceland in that sense.
Yeah.
So you have fresh air. You have clean air, and you have clean water. You can just walk to a water and you can drink from it. And I think that was also something that we really appreciated to add into the branding and the process is the tranquility of spaces. Yeah, because airports are dull, and they're the same all over the place. You walk in airport somewhere in Europe, and you could be somewhere in Canada or in somewhere else.
Right.
So I think the first step it was to create this sort of sense of place at the airport that you're tapping into another heartbeat.
Yeah. That makes sense. Let's look at this illustration. So similar, because we talked about Heimar yesterday, and similar. I like that you have this modular piece similar to what you were doing with Heimar. So talk a little bit about the philosophy behind that, because when we saw in that sizzle reel, there's merch, and that's people don't usually go, I'm going to go get some airport merch. Exactly. I'm gonna get some Newark Liberty Airport merch. But talk about the illustration and how that bore out.
Yeah, we started out with the underlying grid you see there, sort of as a sort of an experimentation in a way, and just started creating some abstract forms. And from that, we always thought of it as something to scale up, so we could make bigger illustrations and murals and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then just to make a library for ourselves of various illustrations that we could actually use in terms of embedding the brand into the architecture as well. Mm-hmm. So you can see there, for example, the tiles. It was always thought of as a medium in a way, sort of making murals on the buildings and sort of, so the brand would just naturally flow throughout the building. Then we sort of tried it on some scarves and bags, and
it works.
It works, and the airport wanted new bags, just the shopping bags for the visitors.
So good.
And the scarves were actually made for the employees as well. And so it's getting like more and more touch points around the airport and among the staff and the visitors. So it's really nice. And then for the broader scale of the illustrations, then we have sort of a more free-flowing illustrations, but this particular system as a background, sort of. So it's always an interplay of illustrations.
Yep. Daniel, go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, I think also what's interesting to add is you see the word itself, KF. It's really plain and simple because you need to be plain and simple.
Yeah.
Then of course we have the heritage of our of Nordic or Icelandic design. So you want to elevate every moment with the uniqueness of Iceland, also in the branding, because we have design is a big thing here in Iceland, and Nordic design and stuff like that. So I think how we it was always a balance between being minimal but having a system to extend the brand into tap into culture or make merch or stuff like to like open it up into
be expressive
brand, without being too much, because you don't want to be like too crazy, but still I think also what's really what was really interesting in this process was it's also turning a place from being a place you're waiting to a place you want to hang out in. And we're still working with that, and they're building and construction all over the place, and but they're really their understanding of what branding does to perception and customers being happy and visitors being happy.
I've never wanted to visit an airport, but I do now. I've been to Keflavik, but it hasn't been. It's been about 6 years, and so I mean, just seeing that makes me want to get back there and spend a little more time.
Exactly. Just sip and watch.
Exactly. Get you a bottle of off-brand Brennivant. Daniel, you've got the last word here as jury co-president with Kate. What's your last word? Question? What's your vibe, man?
I mean, look, my last word is not just for these guys, but for everybody. The breadth and depth of great work has been really astounding. And I think I mentioned a couple of days ago, even when we all do this for a living, but we're so busy, I guess maybe, with our clients, we don't get a chance necessarily to see who else is out there and who's doing really fabulous work. So for me, it's just really kind of thrilling and also inspiring, and you get to appreciate other people, you get to learn from other people. So that's really my last word here. It's just been wildly inspiring, and I have been to Iceland twice. It's been a few years, and now I do want to come back. I think an airport.
Let us know.
It's the first experience, and it's the last experience you have in any country, right? And the fact that you're already creating that entry and that exit to be memorable, to be a place you want to hang out at, like you said, is wonderful. So huge congratulations. And next time I come, I'll drop you guys a note, and it'd be lovely to come and visit you or have coffee somewhere. And
definitely.
Their space is great. Like, I love, their space is great. And then just being in town it's the best. It is absolutely the best.
Always.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doug, as well, for all of this. A lot of work to like get through it and to organize it all, and so it's not lost on me. You made it very easy for me and Kate to be able to look at the work.
Oh,
and,
cool.
For everybody to participate in a very low key, fun way is very much appreciated. So thanks for everything you and Kyle have been doing on this.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's like our main KPI is vibe, and if we create something cool and good, the rest will take care of itself. All right, gentlemen, you've got a canned lion. Now you've got a real big ass banner coming your way.
Lovely.
I got to figure out
outside the building. Isn't that cool?
You should. It legitimately is that big.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Do that.
I'm worried what Yar is going to say.
Yeah,
I'm
he's gonna be happy.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, on behalf of everybody here at Indie Agency News, congratulations. You got your can line, you got your big ass banner coming your way. But most importantly, we really appreciate you supporting this mission. Daniel, let's do this again sometime. Kyle,
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to you in 10 minutes. Gentlemen, Dolian Honor, you have a wonderful weekend. On behalf of everybody at Indie Agency News, all three of us, me, Kyle, and Jess Zafaris, we wrap up our top 40 design. We'll see you for the next one soon. See you, everybody.
Thanks so much. Bye.